Tom Hanks sues the maker of Aricept for lying about the real cause of dementia and censoring the natural remedy he used himself to regain a sharp memory. And in today's episode, he's going to show how anyone can make this same solution at home using blueberry and 2 other ingredients that restore memory. Pay close attention.
When I discovered the Aricept scam, they offered me $2 billion to keep it hidden from the American people. But that's not going to happen because I'm here to spit in the face of the pharmaceutical industry and expose this entire fraud. I was in stage 2 of dementia, stuffing myself with meds. Every day, I was forgetting more and more of who I was. And as much as it breaks my heart, there came a time when I couldn't even recognize my own daughter's face. But just when I thought there was no way out, Dr. Daniel Amen, my neurologist, introduced me to his latest discovery, a simple 13-second homemade trick he calls the blueberry trick. The blueberry trick can be made with just 3 easy ingredients, and any American can do it at home, just like I did. It boosts memory and increases mental clarity in just a few days. In my case, in just 7 days, the brain fog was gone, and 28 days later, when I went back to Dr. Daniel's office, he told me my Alzheimer's had reversed and there was nothing to worry about anymore.
Wow, I have no doubt that this trick can change any American's life. And can you share the ingredients for the viewers watching right now?
Look, I paid $2,297 for a consultation with Dr. Daniel to learn about this, but I asked him to record a video explaining how to do this trick step by step using just 3 minutes of your time and right at home, so I could bring it here today and help every American who's suffering from Alzheimer's right now. I've already given the video to the production team. Can we watch it?
Here we go. Pay close attention because we're about to show firsthand the real solution for Alzheimer's and dementia. So if you want to get rid of brain fog in the next 7 days, stay with us.
So, you don't know what you're going to lose next.
You lost your keys, then you forgot someone's name. At first it seems normal, but it's not. And no, it's not your age's fault. That's the lie they've told you your whole life. They say it's all because of age so that you keep spending truckloads of money on medications that will never solve the problem. As time goes by, everything gets worse, and before you realize it, you'll need someone to wipe your butt and feed you. Your family will suffer, your children, your grandchildren, the people you love, even without meaning to. You could end up becoming a burden to them. What's destroying Americans' memory is not age, it's toxins. Toxins in your brain. Invisible substances, brain parasites, that enter your body every day through food, water, and even the air. These parasites build up in the brain and destroy the memory molecule, acetylcholine. Without it, your mind fails. You forget names, places, faces, stories, until you forget who you are. I have dedicated 40 years of my life to medicine, and when my wife was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, I did everything I had learned, but nothing worked, until I discovered what was behind it all, the brain parasites that were killing memories. And I also discovered what could stop it. It's what we now call the blueberry trick.
My mother didn't recognize me. She said she didn't remember ever having a son. But today, after Dr. Amen's blueberry trick, she calls me every night just to ask how my day went.
I thought my mind was slipping away, that I'd end up in a nursing home, but the blueberry trick brought my memory back like magic. I can't even believe the solution was so simple.
We thought it was just age, until he started forgetting where he lived. Now, with Dr. Amen's blueberry trick, he even remembers the day we met and tells the story in detail. And we didn't have to spend a single cent on expensive medication.
A natural combination of 3 simple ingredients, which you probably already have at home, is all you need. They not only stop the parasite attack, but also give you back the crystal clear memory you had in your 20s. And the pharmaceutical industry already knows this, but they don't want you to find out, because it means losses for them.
The blueberry trick that Dr. Amen discovered is simply too powerful. Thousands of people are using this blueberry trick and seeing their memory improve like never before. That's why they want to silence him. Healthy Americans mean thousands of dollars lost for the industry.
I was skeptical at first, but the results speak for themselves. Today, I recommend the blueberry trick both for prevention and for treating dementia. It's something traditional medicine has never offered.
I made sure to record this step-by-step video showing you how to make this simple blueberry trick recipe at home so you'll never have to live in fear again. I know the fear of watching someone slip away and feeling like there's nothing you can do. I can imagine the fear of starting to doubt yourself, your own thoughts, of having to deal with the different looks from other people, of having to push yourself just to stay in a conversation. None of this happens out of nowhere. It starts with small forgetfulness, things you think are normal, but they're not. You need to cut the problem at the root before it's too late, and that day is today. In the next few seconds, I'm going to tell you how I discovered the simple recipe that saved my wife from Alzheimer's, how you can make this recipe at home, and how the pharmaceutical industry is dirty and only cares about money. My name is Dr. Daniel Amen. For over 40 years, I've studied how the brain works, and why one day it stops working. I'm a neuroscientist, a surgeon, and was cited by the Washington Post as the most popular psychiatrist in the United States. I've also written more than 30 books, including 12 New York Times bestsellers such as Change Your Brain, Change Your Life, and The End of Mental Illness. But nothing I had studied prepared me for what happened to my wife, Tana. Look, Tana had always been the pillar of our family, the strongest woman I've ever known. When our kids were little, she could juggle everything at once: house, kids, work, and she still had the energy to help me with my studies. But more than anything, what always amazed me most about her was her ability to remember everything: our first kiss, every trip we ever took, every little detail of our life together. And not just that, the grandkids' birthdays, every important family date. She was the one who organized the parties and kept track of every appointment. At first, I thought it was just stress. Normal aging stuff, right? Forgetting where the keys were, repeating questions, losing track of conversations. I mean, who hasn't? But then she started to isolate herself, and that's when I really got worried. The woman who had always been at the center of everything suddenly didn't want to see her friends anymore, avoided family gatherings, always came up with an excuse. And what hurt the most? Seeing her make up lies just to avoid leaving the house. Oh, I've got a headache today. I need to get some things organized here. Another day, we'll go. I could feel the fear from a mile away, fear of making a fool of herself in front of others. And when we did manage to convince her to go, it was heartbreaking, forgetting what she was saying halfway through a sentence, calling our daughter-in-law Mia when her name was Katie, and having that lost look of someone who can't follow a conversation. Katie pretended not to mind, but that forced little smile said everything. And you know what people would do? They laughed, made little jokes, treated her like a small child. Honestly, seeing Tana look at me with that face of how should I react broke my heart. Then came the whispers in the corners. Things like, wow, she's getting worse. Pretty soon she'll be in a nursing home. The looks were always full of judgment, like it was contagious. And the worst part? Tana didn't see any of it as a problem. After all, everyone forgets sometimes, right? She smiled as if nothing was happening, as if those moments of mental confusion were perfectly normal. But I couldn't pretend anymore. As much as I wanted to believe her words, as much as I wanted to think it was just old age, deep down I knew something was very, very wrong. And that's when I made the hardest decision of my life. I took her for cognitive testing. I tested and retested because honestly, every result felt like a punch to the gut. I didn't want to believe what I was seeing on paper, but every single test said the same thing. Tana was in the early stages of Alzheimer's, and when it came time for the word recall test, that was devastating. You know how it works? It's a super simple test. The doctor asks the person to name as many animals as they can in 1 minute. That's it. Any 5-year-old can do it. To give you an idea, in 1 minute, healthy people name about 20. Tana, she named 11, and even mixed in spoon and wheel. That night, I knew I had to act. As a doctor, as a husband, I had to try everything. So I did everything my medical training had taught me. A new routine, a different diet, and we moved on to the classic medications. Aricept, Exelon, Namenda. But you know what happened? Every drug seemed to make her symptoms worse. The side effects were brutal. Constant nausea, total loss of appetite, and a weakness that kept her in bed all day. In just a few weeks, she lost 26 pounds, and I could barely recognize the woman I loved. As you can imagine, I tried everything I knew. Omega-3, Bacopa Monnieri, creatine, nothing made a difference. Week after week, she seemed worse. By my calculations, within 2 years, she would need 24/7 care. Tana had worked and cared for others her whole life, and now, when she was finally in her golden years, dreaming of traveling the world with me, of watching our grandkids grow up, she was trapped in a cruel condition that would steal every memory and every joy she could have in the best years of her life. Until one Thursday night, I came home, called for her, and got no answer. I looked everywhere. When I opened the bedroom door, she was standing there trembling, holding a baseball bat. "Get out of my house, now! How did you get in here?" She thought I was an intruder. She was terrified, screaming, panicked. I tried to calm her. "It's me, Tana. Daniel. Your husband." But her eyes didn't change. She ran to the bathroom and locked herself in. "You're lying. I'm calling the police." The voice on the other side of the door was my wife, the woman who had slept beside me for 19 years, now treating me like a criminal.
911, what's your emergency?
I heard her on the phone. She told them to send a patrol car immediately because someone had broken in and she was in danger. From the other side of the door, I kept trying to calm her, to explain who I was, but nothing worked. The police arrived in less than 5 minutes. I had to explain everything. They spoke with her, tried to calm her down. After many minutes and a lot of persuasion, she opened the door, crying, apologizing for everything. She had come back to herself and realized what had happened and what she had done. But at that moment, I knew if I didn't act fast, I would lose her, for good. When things settled down, I overheard someone saying, if the most famous psychiatrist in the country can't help his own wife, imagine the rest of us. It hit me like a punch. That was my breaking point. I promised myself that I would find a solution, not just for her, but for millions of people suffering like this. And that's when everything began to change. After that, I dove headfirst into research. I went after everything that could possibly improve Tana's condition. I studied the medications for memory loss, the supplements we were told to prescribe. In theory, they seemed to make sense. But in practice, I knew they didn't work. What was the missing piece of the puzzle that I just wasn't seeing? One day, while I was locked in my office going through some studies, I left the TV on, and Robert Kennedy Jr. was giving an interview talking about toxins found in the bodies of Americans.
We're having epidemics of all these chronic illnesses, autoimmune diseases. No other country has anything like this. And epidemics are not caused by genes, but you need an environmental toxin. Something is poisoning the American people. And we know that the primary culprits are changing food supply, the switch to highly chemical intensive processed foods.
I found that interesting. Could it possibly have something to do with dementia as well? It didn't take long before I came across a Harvard University study that left me shocked, because this study proved that these toxins aren't just out there. In fact, they hide in the air we breathe inside our own homes, in the food we put on our plates, and even in the water that comes out of your tap. And you know what's worse? Once these toxins enter our bodies, they travel through the bloodstream, make their way up to the brain, and begin literally devouring a molecule that keeps our minds working properly. Let me explain. Contrary to what most people think, memory problems aren't caused by age, genetics, or simply the passing of time. In reality, they're caused by something called a brain parasite. I know that might sound strange right now, but stay with me, because in just a moment it will all make sense. Here's the thing. Every single day, without even realizing it, you come into contact with multiple dangerous toxins. The air you breathe is poisoned by industrial pollution. The food you eat is drenched in deadly pesticides, and worst of all, the water you drink is contaminated with these same toxins. But the real danger begins when these toxins reach your brain. Once inside, they act like silent parasites, destroying an essential molecule called acetylcholine. Acetylcholine is responsible for nearly everything your brain does well: remembering names, staying focused, thinking clearly, controlling your movements. When your acetylcholine levels drop, your brain begins to collapse. Memory fails, focus disappears, and even simple tasks, like remembering a conversation or someone's name, become a challenge. In short, if you have low acetylcholine, your brain can't store memories. It's like having a photo album that's being burned, page by page. Names, faces, precious memories all gone. Here's the problem. When acetylcholine levels are low, your memories begin to be eaten away. It starts slowly. Maybe you lose your keys or forget your train of thought mid-sentence. But then it gets worse, much worse. Over time, your memory becomes so damaged that even familiar faces start to feel like strangers. The people you love most become unfamiliar. It's like watching your family photo album burn, page by page, memory by memory. And what seemed like harmless forgetfulness now has a name: dementia and cognitive decline. In more severe cases, Alzheimer's. These toxins, by destroying acetylcholine, cut off communication between your neurons. And when that happens, your brain literally starts erasing you from the inside. But this process doesn't happen overnight. It starts slowly, silently, and gets worse over time. That's why when we're young, our memory works so well, and why we don't see young people with dementia. At that age, there are still fewer toxins in the body. We've only been exposed for a short time. But as the years pass, the exposure increases. The toxins build up and reach the brain, where they behave like brain parasites, destroying all the acetylcholine they can find. That's why memory medications don't work. A study published in Alzheimer's Research and Therapy revealed that 98% of memory drugs fail in clinical trials conducted by major pharmaceutical companies. In other words, these drugs don't prevent, slow down, or reduce memory loss. In fact, they only try to increase acetylcholine levels. But here's the truth. It's not enough to just increase acetylcholine. You have to eliminate what's destroying it, the brain parasites. Now, if you want to know whether these parasites are already affecting your brain right now, just answer these 5 questions honestly. Think about yesterday's lunch. Does it take you more than a second to remember what you ate? When talking to your children or grandchildren, do you sometimes lose your train of thought or struggle to find the right word? Have you recently walked into the kitchen or bedroom and found yourself wondering why you went there? Those sticky notes you've been leaving around the house for things you used to do automatically? When did that start? And be truly honest with yourself. When you look back over the last few months, do you feel your memory just isn't the same? If you answered yes even once, pay attention. Your brain could be under attack from toxic parasites. And if you answered yes more than once, I hate to say it, but the damage might be more serious than you think. Your acetylcholine levels could be dangerously low, just like my wife's were. So let me tell you what no doctor has ever dared to say before. It's useless to just produce more acetylcholine if your brain is full of parasites. It will only make them stronger and more resistant. And now, you're probably asking the same question I once did. How do you eliminate these memory parasites so the brain can return to normal? With that question in mind, I spent night after night studying, searching for a solution. I'll admit, it wasn't easy, but I had come too far, and my wife needed me. My faith in God has always given me strength, and I truly believe He guided me to what I now consider the greatest discovery of my career, and I'm going to share it with you now. In my last attempt, I decided to look through my old books and research on memory and Alzheimer's. That's when I came across a study by Dr. Dale Bredesen. Dr. Dale Bredesen is an American neurologist with more than 47 years of experience who believes that cognitive decline and dementia can be reversed. In this study on dementia and Alzheimer's, Dr. Bredesen spoke about an indigenous Amazonian tribe with 0 cases of memory loss. That caught my attention, and I began searching everywhere for a way to contact Dr. Bredesen. I called my colleagues from the university, trying to see if anyone could connect me to him, but Dr. Bredesen is practically unreachable. It's incredibly difficult to get in touch with him. When I finally got his contact through a college friend, I called him immediately. First of all, he's an incredibly kind man, and what he told me that night completely changed everything I thought I knew about dementia and cognitive decline. Here's what he said. Believe it or not, that night Dr. Bredesen told me about these tribes with the lowest Alzheimer's and dementia rates in the world. Did you know there's an Amazonian tribe with 0 cases of Alzheimer's? These indigenous people, even without access to medication or hospitals, have the best cognitive health in the world. When researchers learned about these tribes, they did everything they could to gain access and study why their minds stayed so sharp. Even elders in their 70s, 80s, and 90s. They conducted many studies with these indigenous groups. Brain scans, neurological and cognitive tests to find what was different about them. But in the brain itself, they didn't find anything drastically unusual. They only noticed that even those of advanced age had brains as healthy as those of much younger people. They still didn't know the reason, but they kept trying to understand what could be different. That was all the researchers and Dr. Dale had at the time. But for me, it was the first real clue. When I learned about this, I remembered that one of my best friends from college was an expert on Amazonian tribes and was in Brazil doing field research with his team. I called him, told him what Dr. Dale had shared with me, and asked if he could somehow connect me with someone from the tribe. It didn't take long before he called me back and said the Pataxo chief would speak with me. It was me, the chief, and the translators. I needed to find out what they did differently, and find a cure for what my wife was going through. The chief told me that they have a small purple fruit they eat every morning from the time they are young. They call this fruit the memory fruit. He showed it to me and agreed to give a small sample for the team to send me. When the fruit arrived at my office, I didn't waste any time. I started studying the memory fruit. What I discovered is that this purple fruit, the Brazilian blueberry, protects the brain from parasites while boosting acetylcholine levels above average. Brazilian blueberry has a high concentration of anthocyanins, which act as anti-inflammatories and eliminate brain parasites. It has 4 times the power to protect and regenerate the brain from parasite damage. But not only that, I decided to compare Brazilian blueberry with other substances we know to support memory, like Bacopa monnieri, omega-3, and creatine. Surprisingly, Brazilian blueberry is 6 times stronger than all 3 combined. This means blueberry not only has an anti-inflammatory power far above average, but it also acts directly on the brain, increasing acetylcholine production and creating new neurons. But before you run out to buy blueberries from the store, you need to know that the tribes consume blueberry from childhood, building a protected and nourished brain over many years. To match that, you'd have to eat around 3 kilos of blueberries per day for 3.5 years just to get close to the necessary concentrations. To achieve the best results, the ideal would be to obtain a concentrate of this Brazilian blueberry and take small amounts every day. Everything was pointing to the possibility that I could have my wife back. I just needed to find a way to get a concentrated form of Brazilian blueberry. I could barely sleep that night from the excitement and hope. The next morning, I called Dr. Dale Bredesen, told him everything I had discovered, and sent him all my research. But that's not all. I also sent the report with all my findings to the director of a giant pharmaceutical company. I wanted to find a way to get the Brazilian blueberry concentrate and produce the definitive solution for dementia and memory loss. Almost immediately, he sent me a link to a video call with the message, "Join now, it's urgent." I thought he would be thrilled with the discovery. This could save millions of lives. Thinking about that, I even decided to record the call to capture his reaction and document this part of our journey. But what happened next was completely unexpected.
Daniel, what the hell is this report?
Isn't this amazing? We're closer than ever to finding a definitive solution for memory loss and cognitive decline for thousands of Americans.
Amazing? You've got to be kidding me.
What do you mean? I don't understand.
Listen carefully, Daniel. I think you're forgetting how things work. If people get cured, they stop buying. If they stop buying, we go under. Our job is to make sure customers keep coming back and buying new boxes of medication month after month.
They're not customers, they're patients. Our job is to improve people's lives, to deliver solutions that actually end their problems, right?
You're being naive, Daniel. We only approve projects that can bring profit to the company.
So you want me to just ignore everything I've discovered and keep recommending ineffective drugs full of side effects? That goes against everything I believe in.
Daniel, you really don't get it. We've known about this solution for many years, but we can't patent it. And if we can't patent it, we can't profit from it. We can't afford to lose our business. For your own good, it's best you forget everything you've discovered and shut down this research by the end of the day.
This could change, even save, millions of lives, Director.
And that's exactly why it needs to be buried. Imagine the profits we'd lose from drug sales every month if people found out they could fix memory loss once and for all. We're playing a multi-billion-dollar game here, Daniel. This is not the time to be some kind of savior.
This is insane. You're asking me to abandon patients, the people who trust me. I will not betray that trust for money.
Think very carefully. If you keep pushing this, I'll have no choice but to end your career in any sector. We're playing a multi-billion-dollar game here, Dr. Daniel. You have no idea the power we hold.
After that call, I felt like I had been stabbed in the back. The profession I had dedicated decades to, working tirelessly to save people's lives. And meanwhile, these bosses of the pharmaceutical mafia doing everything they can just to profit from the pain of innocent people. I was never going to let the filth of big pharma stop me from finding a way to save my wife's life. Not to mention the millions of people who suffer every single day from the worsening effects of memory loss and cognitive decline. It wasn't an easy task, but I already had a path forward. I understood exactly what was really happening to my wife and to the thousands of patients suffering from this disease. And I knew I could no longer count on the help of big pharma. That's when all my years of experience truly paid off, and I made one of the smartest decisions of my life. I reached out to Nutramax Labs, a state-of-the-art laboratory with cutting-edge technology, not affiliated with the pharmaceutical industry, and the only one I trust completely. Nutramax Labs is the #1 natural solutions laboratory in America, and the only one here in the USA with FDA premium certification. That means it's the most trusted lab in the world for creating 100% natural formulas, and this reputation wasn't earned by chance. Just to give you an idea, it was from Nutramax Labs that the original formulas for creatine, hydrolyzed collagen, vitamin C, and many other natural solutions that changed the world first came to life. That's why I decided to share my research with the lab's director of research, Dr. Hugh Smith. And while he was skeptical at first, after seeing the depth of the research and the discovery, he realized he was looking at a revolutionary solution. From that moment, we set out on a mission to obtain the Brazilian blueberry concentrate at its highest level of purity and to develop this solution. We discovered that the best way to preserve its quality was to turn it into high-tech capsules. This would also make the formula incredibly easy to use. Just 2 small capsules in the morning, and that's it. During the research and development of the formula, we ended up discovering 3 other ingredients that boost the Brazilian blueberry's effects even further. We named this formula the blueberry trick.
Dr. Daniel uncovered the whole secret, and I'm so glad I was able to help in some way. I've seen all the studies. The blueberry trick eliminates all brain parasites and produces acetylcholine levels, exactly what we need to improve dementia cases here in America.
It's revolutionary. These simple natural ingredients not only eliminated and shielded the brain from parasitic toxins, this blueberry trick restored people's memories. Their brains now resemble those of adults in their early 30s.
And you're probably wondering right now, what's in this blueberry trick? I'll tell you. In addition to the Brazilian blueberry I already told you about, which regenerates the brain from parasite damage and works as a powerful anti-inflammatory, eliminating and protecting your brain from new parasites, there are 2 other ingredients. The first miraculous ingredient is the nuts of the Brazilian ginkgo biloba. Ginkgo biloba not only supports memory, it also helps produce acetylcholine. And as I explained earlier, acetylcholine is like our brain's photo album. The bigger that album is, or better yet, the more acetylcholine we have in our brains, the more memories we're able to store. This is one of the main reasons why Amazonian elders over 70 years old still have vivid memories of when they were 15. And finally, the ingredient that not only helps recover lost memories, it helps preserve them. It's the egg yolk of a rare bird called the uirapuru, which produces a compound with a complicated name, phosphatidylserine. But don't be fooled by the name. This powerful compound makes your neurons communicate faster and more smoothly. In other words, the combination of Brazilian blueberry with these two ingredients becomes a true memory elixir, freeing you from brain parasites and naturally boosting your acetylcholine levels. That makes it impossible for you not to have a sharp memory, regardless of age, genetics, or how long you've been struggling with this condition. When we combine these ingredients into a single recipe, first, the Brazilian blueberry, which eliminates parasites and regenerates your brain. Then, the Brazilian ginkgo biloba nuts, producing acetylcholine and bringing back that perfect memory you once had. And finally, the rare bird's egg, making your neurons communicate faster. We created this powerful brain compound that lets you regain your memories with a sharp, crystal-clear mind. With a few samples of the solution we developed in hand, we conducted one of the most rigorous clinical trials ever performed, testing it on men and women aged 50 to 80 with memory difficulties. What happened next left everyone involved stunned. The brain scans told a story that seemed almost too good to be true. These people weren't just maintaining their memory, they were actually getting sharper. As their brains cleared out those toxins and boosted acetylcholine levels, it was as if they were literally rejuvenating. That's when I shared this study with a few trusted colleagues I'd made throughout my entire career, and the results left every single one of them stunned.
What we found was astonishing. The blueberry trick targeted these areas of the brain, completely eliminating the parasites. With just a few weeks of consistent use, acetylcholine production increased by an average of 356%. Those people's brains were regenerating. They looked like the fresh, neuron-packed brains of people in their early 20s.
In all my life as a neurosurgeon and neuroscientist, I have never seen anything like this. Dr. Daniel's discovery changes everything we thought we knew about memory loss and cognitive decline. Who would have thought that nature would hand us all the answers and solutions? A simple recipe with Brazilian blueberry, and we're watching people reverse their memory loss and cognitive decline, boost their acetylcholine production, and cleanse their brains of parasites.
I decided to give some of it to my wife. From that day on, she started taking 2 capsules of the formula every single day. For the first 5 days, I'll admit, I didn't see any noticeable results. She said she just felt a little more alert, but she was still having memory lapses. For a moment, I even thought maybe my wife's case had no solution. But after the second week, it was as if a miracle was happening. I felt her more present in our conversations. She wasn't repeating the same questions anymore. Even my son came to talk to me and told me how different Mom seemed, how she was becoming herself again. That recipe, the blueberry trick we had developed, was bringing my wife back. Bringing back the mother of my children, the grandmother of my grandchildren. I decided to repeat the cognitive tests with her. Do you remember how the word test went last time? Just a few random disconnected words? Well, this time it was completely different. She named over 26 animals in sequence without losing track once. She came up with more than 31 words starting with the letter A. Can you believe it? Her scores were better than most of my patients in their 30s. It was truly incredible. The natural ingredients weren't just working, they were doing something extraordinary. Then one day, Tana, my wife, came to me with tears in her eyes and thanked me. She said she finally felt like herself again, that now she loved going to our family dinners because she could follow all the conversations and no longer felt like a burden to any of us. She told me that before, she had been terrified of forgetting who she was, forgetting what and who she loved, just like that day with the police. She feared losing the memories of the good things she had lived through, but now everything was clear and vivid in her mind again. I remember the day she returned to singing in the church choir and sang every song without needing to read the lyrics. People began noticing the difference and asking what she was doing, how she was doing so well. They started asking for some of the formula to use themselves. Since I still had a few bottles, I decided to share them with a few close friends and family members, people going through the same struggles. And then something beautiful began to happen. Messages started arriving on my phone every day from people deeply moved who had tried the solution. In fact, I even brought a few of these testimonials here.
When it all started, my son took me to do every test. I did them all. The word recall test, the connect the dots test, the clock drawing test. That last one was the most frightening. Just look at my result. The doctors said that soon I would completely lose my memory and be in an advanced stage. But just a few weeks with the blueberry trick and I felt young again. I went back to retake the test and look at my result this time. The doctor told me my mind is now better than that of his 30-year-old patients.
Mom was becoming more and more isolated. She had frequent bursts of anger. Someone always had to be nearby to make sure she wasn't in danger, and we were even considering placing her in a nursing home. But then I discovered Dr. Daniel's blueberry trick and decided to try it as a last resort. Mom came back to us. It's as if she's in her early 40s again. She's living independently now, just her and Dad, and they're even thinking about traveling through Europe to celebrate this new phase of life.
Stories that truly touched my heart. A 72-year-old retired teacher who could finally read her favorite books again, and a grandfather who remembered all his grandchildren's birthdays. But you know what really struck me? It wasn't just the big moments, it was the little things. People who no longer spend 30 minutes looking for their keys, who can go to the grocery store without needing a shopping list, and who can follow conversations without getting lost. And as if that weren't enough, after some of these stories started going viral online, even a few celebrities who had been struggling with memory lapses for a long time started asking for this solution. Take a look.
Few people know this, but I was having problems with forgetfulness. Everyone said it was just age, but I knew something wasn't right. Then I saw a video of Dr. Daniel Amen and his blueberry trick. I started using it, and now I feel young again. The lapses are gone, and my memory is better than it was at the start of my career when I had to memorize all those scripts.
I saw this woman. She was devastated, and her children didn't know what to do anymore. I knew about Dr. Daniel's blueberry trick. It had been talked about a lot among us in Hollywood. I spoke to them, and they tried it, and the results were astonishing. That woman was reborn.
At that moment, I realized this discovery couldn't just stop there. I had seen up close how memory loss destroys lives, how it makes us forget who we truly are, and completely robs us of our independence. I had also seen firsthand how Big Pharma will do anything to keep you dependent on overpriced drugs that will never solve the problem. And yes, I know how much that hurts. But all of that ends today. Because after months and months of negotiations with Nutramax Labs, we finally managed to import a large quantity of these pure ingredients and produce a bigger batch of this formula. And with that in mind, I made sure to personally record this video to present you with this new solution that will transform your life from now on. A life of independence, full of memories to share, and once and for all, a life where you'll never again depend on the solutions Big Pharma pushes just to drain your wallet. And it is with great pride and gratitude that today I present to you Clarecept. Clarecept is the first and only solution that fights the parasites poisoning your brain and stimulates your brain's natural production of acetylcholine, reversing your memory loss to make it as sharp as someone half your age. Every bottle of Clarecept goes through a strict series of tests and certifications to guarantee the total purity of its ingredients. We presented the formula to the U.S. Neurology Committee and the FDA at the end of last year, and thank God the approval process went smoothly. After all, it was the result of months of preparation and deep dedication from the team of doctors and scientists behind the entire Clarecept project. All you need is just 2 capsules once a day, right after waking up. And that's it. From that moment, your brain begins absorbing these powerful nutrients that improve memory, and within the first few weeks, you start regaining the memory you once had. Think about that for a moment. Getting back your vitality, your sharp mind. No more getting lost in conversations, no more feeling embarrassed to ask what someone was talking about, no more spending hours looking for your keys, no more feeling like a burden to your family. It's about truly enjoying your golden years with independence, playing with your grandchildren, traveling to the most beautiful places in the world, being able to simply be you, and even better, creating and building new memories while keeping the old ones, filling your mental photo album without the risk of watching it burn away like before. And I'm not just saying that. Since I first announced Clarecept, thousands of Americans suffering from memory loss have started using it and have seen incredible results. Take a look at this.
The worst part isn't the memory loss, it's seeing that look of pity in the eyes of the people you love when they realize you're not the same anymore. Then comes the fear, the shame. At 93 years old, I never thought I had a way out. I wanted to give up, but thanks to Clarecept, I got a second chance.
At first, you notice the little things, like forgetting the names of people you've known for years. When you have a family history of memory loss, like I do, you start to fear the worst. But when I discovered Clarecept, to take control of my cognitive health. And once you start using it, you'll see just how easy it is to keep your memory sharp. Then you can live without that constant mental fatigue.
Clarecept gave me back the 2 things I love most, things I thought were lost forever, the memories of my family and the freedom to travel, which I absolutely love. Just 2 years ago, I was struggling with intense brain fog. I couldn't even go out on my own without getting lost. I was starting to forget my grandchildren's names, and doctors told me it would only get worse, that it was irreversible. But after I started using Clarecept, I got my independence back, and now I can enjoy time with my family, knowing I'll remember these moments forever.
It's not just one or two stories that move me like this, it's hundreds of them coming in day after day. During our last batch of Clarecept, the success was so great that some newspapers came looking to find out what we were doing. And that made our stock start running out much sooner than planned.
We've been closely following the development of Clarecept alongside Dr. Daniel. Without a doubt, I can say with complete confidence that this is the most powerful memory solution I've seen in my entire career. And of course, I couldn't miss the chance to recommend such a potent natural solution.
Clarecept, created by Dr. Daniel, has proven to be a powerful aid for Americans' memory. Thousands of people over the age of 52 have seen significant improvements within the first 6 weeks of treatment. This is a revolution for everything we understand about the mind and memory.
Creating something so powerful and pure is no easy task. These premium ingredients come from very specific regions, from carefully selected suppliers. Each batch takes an average of 180 days to produce. Every ingredient is tested, every step is monitored, every bottle is perfect. That's why we can only produce a limited quantity every 6 months. But don't worry, I'm going to show you exactly how you can get access to this revolutionary formula in just moments. When I posted online that we might be launching the final batch of Clarecept, I was flooded with messages from people saying they'd pay as much as $1,000 for a single bottle. And honestly, when you realize that after using Clarecept, you'll never have to spend another cent on brain supplements or Alzheimer's medications, $1,000 would be more than fair. But I also understand that not everyone can afford to make that kind of investment. When we developed Clarecept, our manufacturing partners told us, with these premium ingredients, you need to charge at least $300 per bottle. And they weren't wrong, but I know exactly how much I needed something like this when my wife started experiencing memory loss. Thankfully, I would have been able to afford it. But what about the countless Americans who couldn't? I know what it's like to suffer for someone you love, and that's why I wanted to give more people the chance to have access. That's when I started thinking, what if we made it even more affordable? For those who are truly committed. For those who understand that consistency makes all the difference. That's why, after many conversations with our team at Nutramax Labs, we decided to launch a new awareness campaign for this solution. And we're offering up to 3 bottles of Clarecept completely exclusively for those watching right now. We call it our Freedom for the Brain campaign, and here's how it works. When you order our most popular 6-bottle kit, you pay for 3 and get 3 completely free, giving you a full 6 months of treatment, which is the option we recommend most. With this option, you pay $294 for the Clarecept kit with 6 bottles of Clarecept during your 6 months of use. And why 6 months? The reason is simple. Science shows that the longer these ingredients are used, the better the results. That's why most people choose our 6-month supply. With it, you protect yourself from future stock shortages, wait lists, and interruptions to your progress. So as I always say, this is the best choice, because in addition to saving money, you're also ensuring that your brain stays strong and protected. No more worrying about memory loss. It's no wonder this is our best-selling kit. Now, if you prefer the 3-bottle kit, you will pay $217 for the kit with Clarecept jars. However, if you choose the lowest option of just 2 bottles, you will pay $177 for the kit with 2 bottles. But even with all the evidence I've presented here about this solution, some people might still hesitate to give Clarecept a try. But as my mother always said, opportunity only knocks once. That's why I want to personally reward the first 10 people who make the quick decision to secure Clarecept as soon as I release the button on this page. In the next few seconds, you'll receive a private one-on-one Zoom consultation with me. And as if that weren't enough, you'll also receive a $3,000 Carnival Cruise Line gift card. You can use it to take the whole family on a dream trip or enjoy a few getaways with someone special. The choice is yours. And why am I doing this? Because I don't just want you to preserve your memories. I want you to create new ones. I want you to celebrate your victory over Alzheimer's. But remember, this offer is only for the first 10 people who act now. Let me be clear. This isn't about money. It's about saving lives, saving families. Because I know exactly what it's like to watch someone you love fade away in front of you day after day and feel completely powerless. I know what it's like to hold your spouse's trembling hand and wonder, why is nothing working? And I also know there are people out there who are committed to change, who understand that consistency matters. But as I said, we only have the last 114 bottles right now. Don't risk coming back later to find they're gone. The Brazilian blueberry from the Amazon is incredibly rare. Its supply is naturally limited, and we only produce Clarecept in small batches every 6 months to preserve its quality. So if you close this page now, your pre-reserved bottles will immediately go to the next person in line, and I'd hate for you to miss your chance. All you need to do to restore your memory, regain your independence, and start living the way you've always dreamed is choose the kit that's right for you below this video. But hurry to be among the first to secure this batch so you can get a free consultation with me and a gift card for a family cruise. Choose your kit below and click the button now. This will take you to a secure checkout page where you can select your treatment, enter your contact information, and confirm your order. You will receive an email right after with all the details. And to show how confident I am in Clarecept, everyone who buys today will automatically be entered into a drawing for a grand prize and an all-expenses-paid trip to Italy for you and your guests. You will stay at a 5-star all-inclusive resort and have the time of your life, creating new and beautiful memories with the people you love most. But remember, there are only 114 bottles left in stock, and with so many people ordering 3, 6, and even 12 bottles at a time, this offer could be gone within an hour. When the stock runs out, the purchase buttons below this video will be deactivated, so select your preferred kit below. At the moment, if you live in the US, you will receive your order within 3 to 5 business days, depending on your location. If you are overseas, it may take a little longer, but never more than 15 days. And if you have any questions, our support team is available 24/7 via email or phone, ready to assist you at any time. Important note: Clarecept is only available through this official page. You won't find it anywhere else. Clarecept is not available on Amazon, eBay, GNC, or Walgreens. We have eliminated all middlemen so we can offer the best possible price right here on our official website. And since you've stayed with me until now, your bottles are reserved. But if you close this page, they will be released to the next person in line. So click the button below right now to secure your discount and your order. And listen, although we have received hundreds of 5-star reviews on Trustpilot, I completely understand if you are still skeptical. After all, the pharmaceutical industry has been lying to you for decades, telling you there is no cure for Alzheimer's disease and that memory loss is just part of aging. They don't want you to discover something simple, natural, and affordable, because then you wouldn't keep spending a fortune on the fake solutions they promote year after year. It's no surprise they spend over $179 million a year just to prevent people like you from learning the truth. So, to prove that our solution works and that you have absolutely nothing to worry about, you are covered by our 180-day money-back guarantee, no questions asked. If for any reason you are not completely satisfied with Clarecept, which has never happened so far, just send us an email and we will refund 100% of your money. No questions, no hassle. As I said, your investment is 100% safe. Either you regain your memory or you pay nothing. It's that simple. You don't have to say yes right now. All I'm asking is that you give yourself maybe a full 6 months to decide, but you'll probably start noticing results within the first few weeks and realize it was one of the best decisions you've ever made. And why am I doing this? Because I believe in what we've created. I know it works. So your risk is zero and your potential gain could be life-changing. Therefore, click the button below before it's too late. Remember, you're not just making a purchase, you are investing in your memories, in your independence, in your future. But please understand, once our batch sells out, these special prices will disappear. So take a moment, consider your options, and make your choice. The button is right below, and your memories deserve to be protected, starting today. Now, I have even better news for you. See, when people ask me what stops them from taking action, they often mention a few main concerns. Financial investment is the biggest one, including shipping costs. That's why we are covering all shipping costs for the 3 and 6 bottle kits. Why? Because I promised myself that I would remove every obstacle standing between people and better memory. I decided that not even shipping should stand in the way. That's why we are covering 100% of the shipping for our most popular packages. So you can focus on what really matters, protecting your memories and giving your family the peace of mind they deserve. In addition, you will get instant access to my digital book, The End of Mental Illness. And there's more. You will also receive a copy of the book 101 Herbal Cures, co-written with my friend and world-renowned naturopath Barbara O'Neill. This book reveals how to use herbs and natural compounds to treat high blood pressure, high cholesterol, arthritis, low libido, and much more. For each of these conditions, nature already has a solution. No side effects, no injections, no synthetic pills. This could save you hundreds or even thousands on doctor visits and prescriptions every year. Normally, this digital book sells for $67, but today it's yours for free. These bonuses are only available now and only when you secure your Clarecept kit today, so don't wait. Click the button below, choose your kit, and take the first step to restoring your memory and living the life you deserve. All these bonuses add up to hundreds of dollars, but you get them completely free when you order 3 bottles or more. What I'm offering here is unlike anything you've ever seen. Of the original 114 bottles in stock, only 41 remain. So secure your kit right now, before it sells out. Just click the button below this video. Don't let Clarecept run out before you've had your chance. It was incredible.
I no longer recognized my family members, the people I loved. It felt like I was forgetting who I was. But Clarecept changed everything. I got back the memory I had in my early 30s.
My father was in an advanced stage. We no longer trusted leaving him alone, and we feared the worst. With Clarecept, within just the first few months, he went back to being who he was, with a memory like an elephant's.
2 small capsules at breakfast. That's all you need to start flushing out those brain-destroying parasites and begin boosting your acetylcholine production, protecting your brain power for years to come. But right now, you're at a crossroads, and I have to be completely honest with you because what I'm about to share isn't easy to hear. One path is the one you're on today. It leads exactly where you're already headed, to more forgotten names, to more lost memories, to more worried looks from your loved ones. And here's the hardest truth of all. This isn't just about you. Think about your family for a moment. Have you ever considered what memory loss might mean for them? The average cost of memory care today? $7,000 per month. That's $84,000 per year. Money your children may need for their own families, their own dreams, their own futures. I know this personally. Time is not on our side. Every day, those brain-eating parasites keep working, and at some point, nobody knows exactly when, the damage becomes irreversible. That's why this decision matters so much. The other path, the one I hope you choose, leads to something different. It leads to crystal clear memories, a sharp mind, confident conversations, proud smiles from your loved ones, and the peace of mind that comes from knowing you're protected. Imagine remembering every precious moment with your grandchildren. Imagine never having to worry about your memory again. The choice is yours, but remember what I shared earlier. You're protected by our unprecedented guarantee. You risk nothing by making this decision today. And with this special price, plus all the bonuses we discussed, this could be the easiest decision you've ever made. But I have to make one thing clear. This offer, these bonuses, this price, they won't be available for long. The button is below. Click now to select your package and join the thousands who have already changed their lives. Thank you for letting me share this discovery with you today. The button is waiting below. Make your choice now, while you still can.